Hi, it's Cara. Welcome to another video. I'm sick. There's some interesting lighting, but I'm trying to like keep it off my face as best I can. But yeah, I'm coming off the end of a cold. Not COVID, thank God. Just a head cold. Probably flu. I don't know what's going on. But it's been congested for like a week and it's not going away, so we're just filming this video and I'm going to film my wrap up tomorrow, but I really wanted to film my haul today, so that's what we're doing. There will be many pauses while I blow my nose. So today we'll be talking about all the books I acquired in the month of June. I also acquired this red nose debacle, but please ignore. There's not as much here as there was last month, which I'm thankful for. There's quite a few new releases I'm very excited about. Some of these I've already read, which is also exciting. And we're just going to get cracking on into it. Let's start with some middle grades, shall we? First off, we have Brightstorm and Dark Whispers by Vashti Hardy. This is book 1 and 2 in the Brightstorm Adventure series. This is a middle grade series that's kind of steampunky, and we follow a group of kids, like a brother and sister, whose father went missing and they in Brightstorm, and they're going to try and figure out what happened to him. I've read Brightstorm. I read that for Believe Them, and I'm going to try and read Dark Whispers in July, so we'll see my thoughts on that very, very soon. But yeah, so we picked up these ones because I really enjoyed Brightstorm, so I was very excited to pick up Dark Whispers. Another middle grade series, I picked up The Clockwork Sparrow and The Jeweled Moth. Again, I read The Clockwork Sparrow for Believe-a-thon, and The Jeweled Moth is book 2. This is a middle grade mystery series, the Sinclair Mysteries, and I absolutely loved The Clockwork Sparrow and gave it 5 stars. It's a mystery set in a, what is the word for it? In a new department store in London, and it's just a romp. It's great fun. I'm very excited to read The Jeweled Moth, and it's a 4-book series, so I will continue on in this series as well eventually. Another book I've already read, we have The Henna Wars by Adiba Jagida. I read this in May, the end of May. Absolutely loved it, gave it 5 stars, so I had to pick up a copy for myself. It's so pretty. Oh, sorry about that lighting, but the sun can be killing me, and it's white underneath. Oh, this follows Nishat, who she lives in Ireland, and her school is doing a business competition, and she decides to make her own henna business. She's Bengali, and her henna is a strong part of her culture, so she decides to make a little henna business. But the love interest, Flavia, who's Brazilian, Afro-Brazilian, also makes a henna business, which is not part of her culture. And so there's a lot of discussion around cultural appropriation, connection to culture. It's obviously queer, and the romance is really sweet, and this was so good. Nishat is super flawed in the way that all teenagers are flawed, selfish, and feels things very intensely, but it was just so perfect and pure. I loved it so much. I've talked about this heaps on my channel, I feel like, but I'm going to keep talking about it because it's just literally so good, and I can't believe that Adiba was paid pittance for this book. The advance was so small, and I want everyone to read it because it's just so good. One book that is not a new release that I picked up is Bats of the Republic by Zachary Thomas Dodson. I did not know this existed. My friend Paige from Pages with Paige sent me a link to it. It's all mixed media formatting, so there is a lot of text. But somewhere at the back there's fold out maps and a letter. Yes. And then it just looks so bizarre. This is the actual book underneath. It's gorgeous. It's so well designed. I don't know if it's obvious from the kind of books I read on my channel, but I am a freaking sucker for a funny, interesting formatting. And this 100% is that. So I can't wait to read it. It's definitely mixed media. It's like story within a story, and I'm just so excited to eventually get to this. I don't know when I will be reading it, but hopefully not too far in the future. How beautiful is it? Okay, and nearly everything else on here is new releases except like one book. Actually, let's start with that. This is I've been meaning to buy this book for ages. Actually both of these books for a while. I've read the first one of these, and I didn't buy it physically because I was struggling with my idea of if I liked it or not. It's got a very interesting formatting, and I read it on Kindle, and I think that really limited my enjoyment, but it like stuck with me. So I like obviously did enjoy it to a degree. And then the companion novel I've desperately been wanting to get, and that is The Wicked King and the Weight of Our Stars by Kate Ancrum. I've read The Wicked King. Like, look at how cool these are. I've read The Wicked King. I gave it, I think, 3.5 stars. I did really enjoy it. It's fucked up, but like, it stuck with me. And I really, really wanted to read The Weight of the Stars. And Kate Ancrum is a Black intersex author. So I really wanted to support her, especially at the moment. So I decided to pick up both of these. And the rest are literally all new releases. While we're on the topic of Black authors, let's talk about the Black authors we have here. I kind of went crazy on the release day. These all came out like within a day of each other, and I went out and got all 3 because I couldn't help myself. So they're not really related, but we have You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson, A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow, and A Song of Wraith and Ruins by Roseanne A. Brown. So You Should See Me in a Crown is a contemporary, YA contemporary. We follow Liz, who really, really wants to get into a fancy college and be a doctor. But she doesn't get the scholarship she needed, but her school offers a scholarship to the prom queen, prom king and queen. So she decides to run for prom queen. Pretty sure she's bisexual, maybe a lesbian. And it's a female-female romance. Look at this pink, oh my god. And apparently the romance is just really, really good. I'm hoping to read this in July. A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow is a exploration of race relations in the US through the idea of like a siren culture. So it's about black mermaids, friendship, self-discovery set against the challenges of today's racism and sexism. So she's a siren, she keeps her powers under lock and key. And there's 2 best friends, and there's a siren murder trial that rocks the nation. I think it's queer, but I don't know in what way. But the 2 main characters are best friends. It's not very long, it's only like under 300 pages. And I've heard some amazing things about this. It's definitely like fabulism, like sirens, but rooted in real world. And then on the other end of the spectrum, A Song of Wraith and Ruin is full fantasy. This is a West African inspired fantasy. We follow Malik and Karina. Karina's the crown princess, whose mother has been assassinated. Malik's going to kill her to get back his sister Nadia, and then Karina's trying to resurrect her mother. I heard this has like the ultimate hurt comfort feels. This cover is again absolutely stunning. Mine's printed a little off center, but not as bad as another book I'll talk to you about coming up in a minute. But like, look at this. Have I got that upside down? Yeah, that way. Like, look at that. How stunning. I'm definitely going to be reading this in July also. Let's talk about the one that really came a bit fucked up, shall we? And that is Manmade Moon by Susan Kogel, which I honestly think has the most beautiful cover. But like, this cover I was like, oh, we could read that on audiobook. I wasn't super convinced, but then I saw this. Honestly, I'm low-key tempted to put it on my shelf just with this bit, because my dust jacket came bent, like folded so off center. I like forced it into an appropriate position, but so it's got creases in weird places. So yeah, honestly tempted to just put it on my cover, on my shelf like this. It also has sprayed edges, if you didn't see that before. This is the new book from the author of Kingdom of Little Wounds, which is a book I read like right when I started BookTube. It fucked me up. It's fucked up. But so I was fascinated by the idea of this. Obviously mermaids, sirens. It's queer, I'm pretty sure, but I think it's like gentle queer, not like super sapphic, like just queer-ish. But I am definitely excited to read this. It just looks so good, but I'm just so mad that mine came, like it was a full like inch misfolded. But yeah, we'll see what I end up doing with that, but I'm so excited to read it. A couple of sequels. We have This Coven Won't Break by Isabel Sterling. This is the sequel to, what's the first book called again? These Witches Don't Burn, which I read last year. It's a queer, witchy, contemporary, and I believe this features the new lineup of like the new girlfriend, and like it's like a high school drama but with witches. I honestly really enjoyed the first one, so I was very excited to get my hands on the second one, and I do love this cover. The other sequel I have here is a beast, and that is Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. This is a Muslim Arabian inspired story. We follow Nari and Dara and Ali, and it's like an Arabian Nights, like 1001 Nights retelling, but like so intense, so dramatic. It's about Jinn and Deva, and I had trouble with the first one, but I think it was because the language and terminology and politics was confusing to me, and then if I go back now I would enjoy it a lot more. But I loved book 2 once like I'd got my head around it. This one is literally like almost 800 pages. It is a freaking beast, but I'm going to try and read it either in July or August because I think it's going to intimidate the fuck out of me if I leave it on my shelf too long. And now a couple of new releases that I just wanted. We have Again by E. Lockhart. E. Lockhart wrote We Were Liars, The Disreputable History of Frankie Landau Banks, and Genuine Fraud, all of which I enjoyed, and I realized I never took the sticker off this. Oh my god. I believe this is a parallel universes, like everything happening over and over again kind of story. My man Matthew at the bookstore said he really enjoyed it, and he likes E. Lockhart, but he didn't love it as much as We Were Liars. But I am very excited to read it. I just love E. Lockhart's writing. She does really interesting stuff with like the way she formats pages, which has always been a thing I've enjoyed of hers. And I'm interested to see the plot of this because I really don't know that much about it. I've tried to keep myself very like not knowing details of this, but I'm excited to read it. I'm not sure when it'll happen, but I'm excited. We also have The Dark Tide by Alicia Jasinska. This is a Lovers YA story, like it's an Australian author, and it's a Slavic inspired, I believe, fantasy with blood moons. Not in the like periody way, but in the like actual blood moons. Witches. I've heard mixed things. Some people love it, some people hate it. But honestly, I freaking love this cover. It's sapphic. And I'm so keen to read this. I'm so keen to give it a try. I'm going to try and fill it in July. We also have Darling Rose Gold by Stephanie Roble. This is a thriller that is pretty strongly based on the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, where she had Munchausen's by proxy. Like her grandmother was, or mother was like making her ill. And this kind of follows like 5 years after all that comes out, if like she's seeking her revenge. I'm so enthralled with the idea of this. The pages are really thin, but I'm excited to read it, and I love this cover. It is stunning. And finally for this haul we have Queen of Coin and Whispers by Helen Corcoran. This is a debut, I think, and it's a fantasy, queer, sapphic. A teenage queen inherits her corrupt uncle's bankrupt kingdom and brings in a new spy master to the fold who takes the job to avenge her murdered father, is the premise of this. I love this cover so much. It's so simplistic, it suits my aesthetic to a T, and I'm really excited to read this. So many sapphic things in this haul, I feel like, which I'm very excited about. Anyway, those are all the books that I picked up in the month of June. Thank you so much for watching this video. I probably sound so out of it. I feel really out of it, but I'll see you tomorrow with a wrap up. And thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you picked up any of these and what you thought of them, if you've already read them, or if you're planning on reading them. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. And otherwise, I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!